Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into some really cool data about Solana.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically what it tells us about the investors who are holding on to it and where the price might be headed.
Okay.
It's kind of like imagine a room full of people and they're all like clutching these lottery tickets,
Right.
totally convinced that they've got the winning numbers.
I like that analogy.
Yeah. That's kind of the energy that we're sensing right now from some Solana holders.
Yeah.
And to figure out why, we're going to be looking at some insights from Glassnode. Like this really awesome on-chain data company.
Yeah, they're top-notch. I think what's super interesting here is this group of investors, the ones who bought SOL between 6 and 12 months ago.
Okay.
They're not just holding, they're HODLing.
Okay, so for anyone out there who maybe isn't super deep in the crypto lingo,
Right.
what makes HODLing different from just like regular holding?
Well, I mean, it really comes down to conviction. Holding could just be, based on short-term speculation. But HODling, that shows a much deeper belief in that asset's long-term potential.
Okay.
So these investors are basically like, we're riding this wave, no matter what kind of dips or swerves come along the way.
You in to win it?
Exactly. And get this, Glassnode found that these like staunch believers, they now represent a full 27% of all the SOL in circulation.
Whoa, 27%. That's a lot.
That's a huge chunk.
That's a serious chunk of the supply.
Yeah.
But who are these HO dealers? Like, are we talking about everyday people or like institutions, whales?
Right.
There's any like clues from the data?
That's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
Glassnode, they don't give out specific names or anything.
Right.
But we can sort of make some guesses, right, based on the timing.
Okay.
So remember, these are people who bought like 6 to 12 months ago.
Yeah.
That puts them right after that big 2022 bull market cooled off. So they weren't like chasing hype, they were buying the dip.
They were, yeah.
Which, suggests a certain level of savviness, maybe even a little bit of a contrarian mindset.
Interesting.
So it's possible we're looking at a mix of, early adopters who believe in Solana's technology, and then maybe even some institutions starting to test the waters.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
They weren't just like swept up in the frenzy. They saw an opportunity when other people were kind of like running for the hills.
Exactly.
Which can be a good sign.
It is a good sign. Yeah.
Okay, but let's flip the coin for a second.
Okay.
What about the people who did buy during that 2022 peak?
Yeah.
Are they still in the game?
Actually, that's one of the key takeaways here.
Okay.
Glassnode's data shows that a big portion of those 2022 buyers, they've already cashed out.
Really?
Yeah, probably taking profits, maybe cutting their losses.
So if like a good chunk of those peak buyers are kind of out of the picture now, what does that mean for Solana's price going forward?
Right.
Is this where that potential surge comes in?
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely creates like an interesting setup,
Yeah.
with fewer sellers potentially, kind of like putting downward pressure on the price.
Right.
It could theoretically be easier for SOL to climb,
Makes sense.
if buying demand picks up.
So less resistance on the way up.
Exactly.
But is there anything else in the data that's like pointing to this potential surge
Okay.
aside from just this HO dealer behavior we're talking about?
Well, Glassnode, they do actually give us a specific price prediction
Oh, okay.
based on their analysis.
Well, what do they think?
They think if Solana can break through that $235 resistance level,
Okay.
they think it could rally towards its previous high of $264.
Whoa, okay. A $264 target?
Yeah.
That would be a pretty big jump from where it is now.
Yeah, for sure.
But what's the logic behind that number? Are they just like pulling that out of thin air?
No, they're not just, making stuff up. They're looking at a bunch of different factors, including one called the Relative Strength Index.
Okay, what's it?
Or RSI for short.
Okay.
It's basically it's a momentum indicator.
Okay.
So it measures the magnitude of those recent price changes just to, evaluate if something's overbought or oversold.
Gotcha.
And right now,
Yeah.
Solana's RSI is sitting pretty neutral.
Okay, so not too hot, not too cold.
Yeah, like Goldilocks, right in the middle.
So what does that tell us?
Well, basically, it suggests that Solana isn't overheated.
Okay.
It's got some, room to run without hitting those like overbought signals
Yeah.
that often come before, like a correction.
Okay.
And you combine that with the reduced selling pressure we were just talking about,
Right.
and it starts to paint a pretty bullish picture, potentially.
Interesting. So we've got these long-term HO dealers.
Right.
We've got this reduced selling pressure. We got a neutral RSI.
Exactly.
It does seem like there are some pieces lining up in Solana's favor.
Yeah.
But let's play devil's advocate for a second.
Okay.
We're talking about predictions here.
Yeah.
And as we all know, the crypto market can be a little unpredictable.
Right. Totally.
So what are some things that could totally throw a wrench in this whole price surge scenario?
You're totally right to be cautious.
Yeah.
Even with, all these positive signals, there are always risks,
Of course.
For one, we have to think about the broader market sentiment.
Okay.
What if Bitcoin takes a tumble?
Yeah.
It probably drags the whole altcoin market down with it.
Right. So even if Solana's fundamentals are looking great,
Right.
it could still get caught up in a bigger market downturn.
For sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What else should we keep an eye on?
Well, Solana has had some of those, technical challenges in the past,
Right.
like those network outages that
They kind of spooked some investors.
yeah, caused some concern.
Mhm.
And, while they've been working on improvements,
Yeah.
Any further issues, any hiccups
Yeah.
could damage confidence
Right.
and impact the price.
That's true. Yeah. Those outages definitely left a little bit of a mark.
Yeah.
So we got to consider the broader market.
Yeah.
Solana's own technical reliability.
Right.
And I imagine regulatory news could also shake things up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The regulatory landscape is still evolving for crypto, and any big policy changes could just
Yeah.
create a ton of uncertainty.
And impact how investors feel.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot to think about there.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we wrap up, let's bring it back to you, the listener.
Yeah.
We've kind of laid out some of the potential upsides, some of the downsides, the HODling behavior, the price target, the risks.
Right.
But ultimately, it's up to you to weigh all those factors and decide what it all means for your own investment approach.
Exactly.
So does this data change your perspective on Solana at all?
Yeah, good question.
Does it make you more bullish, more cautious, or somewhere in between?
Right.
We'd love to hear your thoughts, but
Yeah.
one thing's for sure.
For sure.
It's a fascinating case study in how on-chain data
right.
can reveal all these hidden trends
Yeah.
and give us a much deeper understanding of what's driving the market.
Totally.
It's so funny. We always hear about the emotional side of investing,
Right.
fear and greed, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when you look at on-chain data,
Yeah.
it's you can really see those emotions come to life.
You can. It's fascinating.
You can almost picture those long-term HO dealers just
Conviction.
conviction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Diamond hands.
Ah.
And then you contrast that with those folks who bought at the peak
Yeah.
and just bailed,
I'm patient.
Yeah, it's a whole psychological tapestry.
It really is. It's super interesting.
It really kind of underscores
yeah.
how important it is to not just follow the herd.
Right. Right.
You know,
so your own research.
do your own research, understand your own motivations, risk tolerance.
What are you comfortable with?
Yeah, are you the type of person who can handle those wild swings
Right.
and believe in the long game?
Yeah. Are you in it for the long haul?
Or do you need a more cautious, approach?
Exactly.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Exactly. It's all about, what's your personality like?
Yeah, it's about finding that alignment between your strategy and who you are as an investor.
Totally.
So to anyone listening who maybe is feeling a little lost in the weeds here,
Yeah.
what would you say is the big takeaway from all of this?
Oh, that's a good question.
Why should people care about this HO dealer behavior and these price predictions?
Well, because it shows you the power of information, right?
Yes.
In a market that feels so chaotic and driven by hype.
Yeah, it can feel that way sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
On-chain data lets you peek behind the curtain a little bit. You can see what different groups of investors are doing, understand those forces that are at play beyond just the headlines.
Right.
And that knowledge can help you make much better decisions,
Right.
whether you're, a pro trader or just starting out.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for the market.
Yeah, exactly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive on Solana today,
Right.
we want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
We've talked about the potential upsides.
The good stuff.
Yeah. But let's not forget about the risk, right?
Always risk, especially in crypto.
Especially in crypto.
Yeah.
So given everything we've discussed,
Right.
the data, the predictions, the risks,
All of it?
would you personally invest in Solana right now?
Ooh, that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not going to tell you what to do.
No, of course not. Of course not. It's your money.
But
Hopefully this deep dive has given you the knowledge to approach that question with a little bit more confidence.
And make the best choice for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for today.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us.